Keys. How are you doing
Taylor,
today?
how are you?
I'm doing great.
Good to see you.
Thank you. Thank you. I just want to, first off, thank you again for allowing me to have the opportunity to visit with you once again about Waste Away. I know the last time we got to visit face to face, it was before the coronavirus pandemic. How have you and your family been doing during this time?
It's been good. You know, we've stayed healthy. We've, trying to do our best on the quarantine and just, staying at home, being, kind of isolating ourselves. But everybody's healthy. We haven't had any, illness or anything from that standpoint. So that's been a good thing. But I tell you, my wife and kids are ready to get back to normal. They're ready to get out of the house and go out to eat and do some things that we used to do as a family. So
No,
how about
I
yourself?
understand.
How's it affecting you?
I would say the same way. I'm ready to get back to normalcy for sure, but my schoolwork has been keeping me really busy, and just having the opportunity to visit with some new customers has also been really exciting for me as well. So, it definitely has its pros and cons for sure during this time, but like yourself, I'm ready for things to get back to normal.
Well, that's good.
Yes. So your daughters, Siler and Sagan, have they enjoyed being home a little bit more with you and Chastity?
I think if you ask any kid, they're going to say, oh yeah, we love being at home, we love being out of school, but they both miss the social aspect of being at school. And I tell you, my wife and I, we've had our challenges of helping with their homework and doing this online stuff, and we probably should have paid a little closer attention when we were going through there as well. So.
Awesome. Well, that's good. I'm glad that y'all are all doing well and everyone's healthy during this time period. So,
You bet.
well, first off, I know that when we had our phone call the other day just to set up this meeting, I was able to give you just a brief rundown of what Waste Away has to offer in relation to just a brief overview of a few of its features and benefits. But today I just kind of want to go into a little bit more detail about each of those features and benefits. And when I first learned about Waste Away as a product, I instantly thought about you and your cattle operation. I think that this product will be a good tool that I think you'll be able to implement into your program in the years to come for sure. But first off, I just want to start off by asking you just a few questions. I know for me, with my cattle herd during the weaning and breeding season, I deal with a lot of manure buildup in my sorting pens. Do you tend to also have this issue during those weaning and breeding seasons?
We do, and it has a lot to do with what kind of season we're in. Seems like the wetter times of the year, there's more manure and more sludge in our pens that really become a nuisance to our operation. And then there's times that, the dry, you would think that, there doesn't seem to be as much out there, but it seems to be more volatile and floating in the air and stuff. And so I think we get some illness sometimes out of that as well. But yeah, we do have a manure problem. I mean, anytime you bring that many cattle into that confined area, you're going to have a buildup and waste.
For sure. Yeah, so with that buildup, is there currently an ag chemical that you're using or just manual labor?
We've tried it all. We can go in there with a skid steer and scrape those pens and stockpile the manure and get it out of the pens. But that's pretty labor intensive. You got to get equipment in there. You got to have skilled workers to go in there to actually run that and be safe around the cattle and things. So that gets a little bit costly, but we have used a product that Green Dirt supplies, and it's done a nice job. I think we see some results out of it, but still kind of early in the game, and but we do think we're seeing some things as far as reduction of the waste that's in our pens.
Good. You bring up that you've used an ag chemical from Green Dirt. Are you currently satisfied with that ag chemical on the manure?
Yeah, I mean, like I say, we're still kind of using it. We think we're seeing some things, but we don't really know what's actually taking place. But we do think we see some good results out of it. But yeah, I don't know that it's the perfect answer for what we need at this time.
I gotcha. Well, just going back to during the weaning period, I know that you know, and I know as cattlemen that during the weaning period, it is a crucial time because you're bringing steers and heifers alike that are 5 to 6 months of age into a smaller space than what they're used to out in a pasture when you bring them into those sorting pens. And, their immune system can oftentimes be compromised. So during your weaning season, do you face illnesses or diseases possibly related to E. coli, salmonella, or other harmful pathogens such as that?
I'd say we've seen all the above. I don't know that it's an exact each year you get the same bug or same illness, but every year we've had some kind. I mean, we've had to mess with coccidiosis, salmonella, E. coli, dust pneumonia at times. So I mean, we're always having illness.
Mm-hmm.
It's just I don't know that you could say it's one specific thing each year, but yeah, we have illness every year on that deal. It's anytime you bring that number of cattle into a set of pens and confine them, one gets sick, it kind of goes through them all on that deal. So
no, I understand. So in order to combat, the health issues that you could potentially face each year, would you be interested in a product that, can reduce illness, reduce your medical costs, and also reduce your labor?
If it would reduce my labor and time and benefit me by just improving the health of those cattle, you bet. We'd sure look at something.
Well, perfect. Well, that's where we're going with Waste Away today, and now I'm going to begin my presentation over Waste Away. I have a pamphlet for you.
Okay.
This just talks a little bit more about what we're going to get into, some more detail today in relation to Waste Away. So you're more than welcome, to take that home and look at it after our meeting today. But with you right now, I'd like to talk about one of the key features that Waste Away has to offer, and that's just in relation to it kickstarts that breaking down of the organic waste, so manure that would be on land or just organic waste in lagoons. So as you can see right here, CXI actually performed a research trial a few years ago where they had a lagoon, which is what we have here in the first image, and in the second image we have the after image where they applied Waste Away, and this image was taken 6 days after just the initial application of Waste Away.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so as you can see, there's a tremendous difference between just those 6 days just with applying Waste Away, which is what I have here today. This is just the typical 2-gallon carton that is an option when you do purchase the product. But just going into a little bit more detail, this goes into the benefit of Waste Away, just being able to, in your sorting pens, just kickstart that initial composting of the organic waste. And in addition to that, it will break down the harmful microorganisms that could be in the manure, such as E. coli or salmonella, like we had talked about earlier. So with this being said, not only are you going to be able to reduce the amount of manure buildup in your pens, but you're also going to create just a healthier environment overall with the reduction of those harmful pathogens that could be located in the manure. So that's just the first benefit of Waste Away. But in addition to having that healthier environment, a reduction in the manure, Waste Away also reduces the amount of ammonia or just the odor of the manure as a whole. So on my next slide, I have where CXI did another research trial where they were able to show that, with Waste Away, when it's stimulating that breakdown of the organic waste, it's also able to reduce or at times eliminate the smell of ammonium, hydrogen sulfate, as well as the septic odor. So with this being a benefit, with eliminating that foul odor, I know that, I've been to your pens before and you have a few people that live close by.
Yeah, my neighbors would sure know.
Yes, sir.
I could
Yes,
reduce
sir.
the smell.
Yes. So I know
my wife might even come out and look at the cattle a little more. She would have to put up with that.
Exactly. So that's just all I was going to get into. You won't have to worry about complaints anymore from your neighbors, and just like you said, when you go home, I know your family will be very appreciative, and you will be too. just having that overall fresher smelling environment. And finally, the third feature we're going to discuss is that Waste Away is OMRI certified. Are you familiar with this certification?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so that's okay. We'll go into it a little bit more in depth. But all that OMRI stands for is Organic Materials Review Institute. So this means that Waste Away qualifies on an organic certification. So the reason for this is because Waste Away is made up of natural soil and water microorganisms. And there's a list in your pamphlet if you'd like to go through all of those. I know it's some big words, but you have bacillus, chlorobium, and many others. But the benefit of this is that when you do apply it to your sorting pins, the soil, you don't have to be concerned that it's going to damage your soil, it's going to damage surrounding areas, such as if it drifted or went to your neighbor's land or anything like that, because it is a safe microorganism. It's a natural product. So rather, it's not going to harm it, rather it's actually going to help the soil as a whole. And with that being said, you won't have to deal with complaints from your neighbors. And in addition to this, I know that currently you raise conventional beef, but markets are changing all the time, and especially right now for sure. So if you ever did want to go into the organic sector of the cattle industry, Waste Away is qualified as an organic product, so you would be able to still continue your use, now when you're raising conventional beef, and if you did make the switch to raising organic beef, Waste Away is still a qualified product that you can use.
Gotcha.
So those are just a few of the features that I felt would really stand out to you in your program. So at this time, do you have any questions for me about Waste Away?
No, I'd be interested in kind of looking at it and stuff. I guess probably the biggest challenge is, with COVID-19 and stuff, and just, our budget's already kind of tight and things right now, but just the cost of it's really going to be a challenge for us to implement into our operation on that deal. That's probably the biggest concern that I have right now on it.
No, and I completely understand. I actually do have a price sheet for you. So Waste Away comes in 1 gallon, 2 gallons, 4 gallon totes. Right here today we have the 2 gallon tote. So this is just a list of the different options that we have for packaging, as well as the price that would be associated with that. And I know that price is a big concern, especially during this time with the pandemic and everything that is going on. But I just want to assure you that, with Waste Away, yes, there is going to be an initial cost, but I know that in the cattle industry, we want to keep our cattle healthy. We want to keep those calves healthy, whether or not their end goal is just weaning and we're going to sell them, or else we're going to feed them through the stalker and go into the feedlot phase. It is crucial in order for each of your calves to be able to get to that final endpoint that you have desired for them. And so I firmly believe that with Waste Away, like I said, there will be that initial investment, but I think ultimately, if it can save 1-2 calves a year from contracting an illness that could be deadly, I think, that's ultimately this product is going to pay for itself, being able to save those calves that you invest so much time and labor and money into. So ultimately, I think Waste Away, it'll pay for itself in the end.
Gotcha. Well, what about like say some years we had an outbreak and, we got to go in there and really doctor and stuff. And, there's been years that we haven't had as much of a problem, and so, is this something that's got to be done every year? Or should you just put it out on those years that it, if I'm not having that big a problem, should I use it on that deal?
First off, I just want to commend you for having just a well-rounded vaccination program and for not having illness, you know, every year, or maybe it's not as much, because I know with the amount of head that you run, you know, typically diseases, you know, would be an issue, but I commend you for not having to deal with that problem. However, with Waste Away, this is a preventative measure. You know, we want to go ahead and stop the illnesses before they can occur, you know, in the manure, those harmful pathogens. So, and then to answer your question, does this need to be applied, you know, every time? So with Waste Away, we're actually going to have an initial pour on. So you'll use it, you know, every 4 days for a month. And then after that, you'll just apply it just every so often. So like I said, just that first initial month just to really get it penetrated into the manure, and then after that, it's just however frequently you need to use it. But just to go back to just the disease topic, right now we have the COVID-19 outbreak, and no one expected it. No one, you know, had vaccines available. No one knew it was going to come. And for you being a cattle producer, I don't want you to be in that position where, you know, 1 year maybe you don't have illnesses, but let's say the next, all of a sudden you have this disease and it affects, you know, 10, 15 head. I don't want you to ever be in that position. So I think Waste Away, one of its benefits is that it is going to be that preventative measure. It's going to go ahead and kill those harmful pathogens, so you don't have to worry about it in the years to come.
Okay.
Well, Mr. Keys, do you have any more questions for me?
No, it's I mean, I can see how you could, you know, taking a proactive step on it and using it. I mean, you know, we probably just need to look at maybe some trials or something here on our place, and you know, see how it's going to benefit us, you know, here in our own operation and stuff. So, you know, I guess, you know, we probably ought to discuss, you know what we need to do here in the future as far as implementing it into our deal. But you know, it's probably one of those deals until we use it here on our farm and in our operation. You know, we'll probably have more questions as we get into it.
For sure.
On that deal.
So after our discussion about just the various benefits and features of Waste Away, you do believe that this could be something you can implement into your program?
If we can break down the manure and reduce the odors, you know, that's going to be a better deal for my neighbors and everybody around here. And then if this product will reduce my illness, that's going to help me on my labor costs. It's also going to just keep my cattle healthier. The healthier they are, the more that they're going to gain, and that's really going to affect my bottom line. So, yeah, I mean, I'd be interested in looking at it, and you know, yeah, I mean, I think that we would want to give this a try. If it does half as what you say it's going to do, I think it'd be a benefit to us.
Well, good. Well, like I said in the beginning, when I read about the benefits and features of Waste Away, I instantly thought about you and your cattle operation, and I truly think it'll be a tool that you'll be able to implement into your program for the years to come. But just in closing, I'd like to share just a previous success story from one of our current customers. I don't know, I'm sure you're familiar with Dr. Mims, who's a veterinarian in Hereford, Texas, and he's well known across the nation, but not only is he a veterinarian, but he's also a club calf producer. And just a few years ago, he was facing an issue with having the manure build up and it causing disease in his calves during the weaning season. And, you know, for a while, you know, he couldn't figure it out. He would use manual labor and just completely scrape all the manure out of the sorting pens. He used bleach water, but just year after year, he could never just tackle a correct solution. He just kept having the same issue over and over again. But whenever he heard about Waste Away and the features and benefits that it has to offer, he opted to try it out, and he has had tremendous success. You know, like we talked about in the beginning, it's reduced his illness, it's reduced his medical costs, and it's reduced obviously the amount of labor, because he just has to go pour that on versus in the beginning he had to scrape all the pins out. So I know that you and Dr. Mims have a very similar cattle operation. So that's just why I wanted to share that story with you, because I think that, you know, the success that he has, I think that's the same success that you're going to have with your cattle operation.
That's funny you say that. I actually ran into Dr. Mims at the feed store, and he actually told me that you're a pretty good person and that you do have a pretty good product that you're repping, and so he kind of led into this today for you. I don't know if you knew that he had spoke with me, but he put in a good word for you and a good word about the product, so I sure know or understand that he believes in the product.
Well, good. Well, like I said, he's had tremendous success, and so if you ever need, you know, to talk to him, obviously, I know that y'all have a close relationship, so I know that he'd be more than welcome to share any tips or just kind of what he's experienced. So with that being said, are you ready to get started with Wasteway?
I believe so. It's time. I mean, it's never the wrong time to do the right thing, so yeah, I think it's something that you know, what do we need to do to go forward?
For sure. Okay, well, I'm glad you said that. So I know earlier you had talked about wanting to do some different research trials. We can definitely get that set up. Like I said, I'm going to send you with this brochure and the price sheet, and I also have just another little brochure for you that you can take as well. But I will, just to go back, I know we've Back to Nature sold compost to you in the past. Is your billing and shipping information the same as it was when you purchased the compost?
Yes, we'll just leave all that information the same, and yeah, the billing and shipping will be the same address. Everything comes here to our house at our headquarters, and then we'll carry it out to the pens and stuff. One thing, my wife kind of likes to get the Southwest Airlines miles, and so we were gonna, you know, with this, would you mind if we pay with our credit card, just to so we can take advantage of those miles?
Oh, of course, yes. Yes, and we can definitely discuss that over the phone. How would Mondays sound for you? If I get back to my office, I'll plug in your shipping information and I'll give you a call as soon as I'm able to get that in the system and just kind of give you an update of everything that's going on.
That's fine. That's fine. That'll work.
Perfect. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much again, Mr. Keys, for your time, and I know you're going to be very successful with our product.
Good. Thank you. Appreciate your time coming out.
Thank you.